Giving it all we got, giving it all we can, giving it all we got. Oh, climbing up to the top of the world, no fear, we're gonna make it. Everything we want is ours. Whoa.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing? How you doing? Craig here on the Thai farm. Oh my gosh, where the sun is making its debut. Probably can't see it because there's something about the naked eye that just beholds. I should do a time lapse. I've done a lot of time lapse, I think, over the years with the sunrise, but just doesn't do it justice, man. Check it out. I gotta show you. So you probably can't see it, but it's right there behind that tree, and it's from here where I sit. My cat over there. From where I sit, it's like looking at the Las Vegas sphere from across the, from across the city or something. It's pretty awesome sight. Man, I wish you could see it live like I see it. But instead, you'll just have to take my word for it. That's pretty good. God, look at that, man. It's full on. Yesterday, I was out here, and it was hiding behind two sets of clouds, like, the morning mist or whatever, and couldn't really see it that good. But this one, in full blooming color. It's huge. What's up, cat? What are you doing? What are you doing? Maybe you can see it better now. I don't know. But it's cool. I sit here and you can, when you have these kind of views, you breathe deep, you feel good, there's kind of a release of some of the stresses you might incur, and there's I think there's probably a production of endorphins, when you see stuff like this. And I don't know if you can see it also. Might be able to see it better here, but there's also a lone Thai guy walking his land out there. He's just walking the land, looking at stuff. Has a backpack on, but he's not probably, worrying about too much. Maybe that's why they call it the land of smiles. There's that guy. I can't help but feel, I know that for sure that working the rice and all that's hard work. It's awfully hard work. But when you're out there by yourself, this kind of mornings, solitude and the calmness. Maybe you can see it now. God, look at that. I don't know, man. I'm gonna try and zoom in on that on my editing. Pretty cool, man. But yeah, anyway, they when they said you should retire, come to Thailand, they said live on a farm, And they could have been right. It's like that sun is a hole in the sky, a portal in which to escape into a bright new world. I can hear the subtle exiting of water from the rice paddies into the canal, trickling, running water. There's something about running water that also is good for you. That's why you should always live near water. If I lived in the smack in the middle of a city, I'd build a pond or a waterfall or something. Yeah, that's retired life, man. You know, are you ready for your retirement? Are you retired? Oh, my whole life, well, not my whole life, but my whole adult life probably, I thought, oh God, please let me stop this freaking nightmare of work, responsibility. But it was more like work for somebody else and responsibility to somebody else. I don't know, I just wasn't cut out for it, man. Don't get me wrong, I was really good at what I did. I thought I was anyway. But we're in hindsight, I don't even think it mattered. No matter how many accolades, awards, or achievements I received. At 66, here, retired on the farm. Who gives a shit? I just want to enjoy it. You know, we get perks here and there living on the farm. You know, self-sufficient on many aspects of it. And self-sufficiency was never a goal. It was really just, it's just the way it happens. You're just taking care of yourself better or whatever in terms of how you resource stuff and everything. I don't know if you can hear that. It's a temple speaker broadcasting subtle music. And actually, you know, it might be the school. Might be the school. They always played like really calming music in the morning. Maybe that's for the students. You know, everybody arrives to school in a very zenful kind of moment. Stark contrast to schools in America. I don't know any schools in America that would be blasting calming music through the campus for the students to arrive. Even when I was in college, actually my first teaching job, South Central Los Angeles, in 1990 maybe or something. Full-on security locker at the door, police officers, weapons, check them out the door. Nobody in, nobody out. And now it's even worse, I'm sure, but this is wonderful. If I had kids, I'd have them in a school like that. Of course, I'd probably supplement their education with my own teaching, because I'm a teacher by nature. But now I'm retired. We don't have children. Didn't really endeavor to do that. Maybe that was because I was surrounded by hundreds of them every day of my whole life. And my wife too, for that matter, because she was part of my life. But now, like I said, retirement, man. That's what life's all about. If you can do it early, hey man, good on you. Just keep your wits about you. I mean, if the average age that your dad is supposed to be 76 now, maybe, something like that. It was at one time. That's 10 years from now. If I'm the average guy and I'm going to be dead 10 years from now, then what the am I doing? Hopefully whatever I want to do. I know I want to do some more stuff. I want to travel some more. I want to build some more. I do want to get in a little trouble now and then. That's a different kind of endorphins I get from that. Can't hear the birds. That's one of the reasons why I profess to my wife not to cut trees and stuff, to build this haven, you know, that we have for all the birds. Maybe you can see this now. It's pretty piercing now. Now you can see it pretty clearly. But you know, I noticed recently I think there's a new species of birds that are coming. Our trees are much taller. I think I might have a picture of looking across the pond when we got here a couple years ago. These trees grow so fast. I guess I never really watched the tree growth when I lived around the world or whatever. I mean, I knew that living on an island for so long, I could see typhoons come and just strip the island of everything. And then in a couple of weeks, it was all green again. And banana trees grow, I think pretty quick in the tropical areas. Not that quick here, but quick enough. But these other trees, and right now this sadao tree that's super popular because everybody eats the flowered, soft leaves at the top. And several family members have come and just pillaged the whole tree. We have, I don't know, we probably got a dozen of those trees here. And I always looked at it like, damn, that tree is nasty. And I found out that really the way it looks all craggly and nasty is because when they come to get the sadao, they just chop off like part of the branch, right? And you know how it is when you're cutting a tree. If you cut a branch off, then it might sprout too, right? So you get all these ding 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 over the years that it's been. But there seems to be no shortage of it because they've been coming every day. So some of the trees have been butchered, but they're the smaller kind of ones. But the real tall ones bring in, a pretty good amount of migratory birds. And the one tree across from my porch on the balcony over there, it has this nest in it. It used to have a nest about like this, and then it just came bigger. Now it's like looks like a huge wasp nest or whatever, but it's a bird nest, and it has several different holes. It's like a full Airbnb for birds, because I've seen little finches hang out in there, then I've seen the bigger birds and the blackbirds, and from over. And then actually the other day I was in my office space, in my guest room, and I had to jump up and run outside because I thought I heard somebody screaming for help, because I thought it sounded like maybe there was a Thai lady that had fallen in the canal, maybe a worker, a farmer or whatever. And I was like, oh shit. So I jumped up and I bounded out my bedroom door, and I opened the porch, my sliding front door. I went out on the balcony, and my wife was in the other bedroom. She heard me, kind of bounding through the house, and she jumped up going, what is it? I go, I think somebody's calling for help or something. And we got out there, was no sound. We're like, Turn around to go back, and all of a sudden, boom, I heard it again. But then you could actually look right, I could see right there that it was a bird in that nest area. But it was a sound I never heard before, so it was yet another species of bird that was taking refuge in that nest area. Weird. But again, it's one of the aspects I like. And here's the iconic Thai scenario coming upon us right here. Red motorcycle on the skinniest of farm trails in the morning sun as the farmer goes to take care of his crops. And the subtle puttering of his engine. Cool, man. See? God, that's such a better picture than traffic. You know, and you don't need a ton of money. You don't. I don't have a ton of money. I mean, I'm fine because I got a pension and Social Security. Speaking of which, with any luck, it'll be more after the first of the year. I mean, you get cost of living from America, but there's legislation on the table now that I'm hopeful that it passes. It's attempted several times in the past, and they've always, you know, I think it's just so crazy that the kind of political football that's used with certain legislation that's for the good. I mean, it's like, oh, that's good. They really want it to pass. Okay, well, let me stuff something else in there, and if that gets in there, then I'll vote for it. You know, if it doesn't, I won't. You know, and they try and go back and forth until they, you know, like, you know, having let's say have a bill for, you know, helping people get free, you know, a bill that gets people free some free medicine or something like that. And then some guy goes, you know, that's a really good thing because those, you know, those special needs kids, they really need that medicine. It's a bill to pass there. Everybody supports it. But you know what? Let's include in that bill money for bullets or something. You're like, what the? But anyway, in this case, there's a bill. I think it's called the what's it? Social Security Fairness Act. I think that's what it's called, Social Security Fairness Act. And what it really is a repeal of a couple of absurd taxation kind of programs. One is the WEP, which is the windfall elimination provision, which affects me actually. And the other one is the, I think it's a GPO or GPO, the government pension offset. And what those are basically, if you don't know, and if you're getting ready for retirement, you might want to look into it, because if you're a government employee in probably half the states, which is why it's messed up that it affects half of them and not the other half, in essence, it reduces your Social Security by 50% if you have a pension from, you know, being a firefighter or a policeman or a teacher or social worker or any other government position where you were putting into a pension fund. Because you were putting in that pension fund, you weren't paying Social Security, but you may have worked your 20 years, or what, you know, you might have been already vested in Social Security because you worked 20 years at all kinds of jobs since you were a teenager or whatever. You busted your ass in a coal mine or whatever, you know, and then you got your job. You know, you finished your college later and you got into a good job and good pension. You still earned your Social Security. It's not an entitlement. You busted your ass to pay into Social Security. I mean, your employer paid into your Social Security as well, but you busted your ass. And so for me, 50% of my Social Security was taken away, is reduced. So, you know, if they repeal that, that's what the Fairness Act is. The act is to repeal those things so that all the police officers and the firemen and teachers and everybody else no longer have to suffer from the 50% reduction. That means after the new year, I would get 50%, or I guess you could say my Social Security would double, which was pretty cool because it can be all over the map for people. I know somebody who's got like a stupid pension. Their pension from the company they worked for, they had menial tasks or whatever, but the company they worked for, their pension is about $120 a month. I mean, really? Who does that? But anyway, so they get like $120 a month from this company that happens to be government affiliated, so they basically paid into a government pension plan. And so they got 50% of their Social Security reduced, and they weren't making good wage. So I think they were making I think their normal Social Security was like $1,200. It would have been only $1,200, and then it reduced 50%. So they basically get $600 and then another $120 or whatever it was. Who can live on that? You know. And the other example, of course, is those states that have and have-nots. There's a border for those states, right? And those borders often go down a road. You live on that side of the street, you get nothing. You live on this side of the street, you get everything like that. So here, and it's the same fire department, let's say, same fire department, fireman over here gets $3,000 a month Social Security. Fireman over there gets $1,500 a month Social Security. That's gotta suck. Hey Bob, how you doing? Well, I'm working on, I got a second job here. What are you doing? Oh, I'm going fishing. So the House has passed as bipartisan support. The House passed the bill, went to the Senate. It's under Senate review right now. With any good luck, it will pass and be signed into law before the first of the year, or be signed into and so that it comes into effect on the first of the year. There was some talk that if it is effective, or if it passes, that it provides for retroactive to last year. But in my feeling, I think if they included that retroactive for last year, then they probably did that as part of the foreseeable bargaining, because again, you're going to get people, and it only takes 3 or 4 people to screw it all up and to say, I'm not voting for that. That's going to be like $120 billion over 120 years. Right? I can't do that unless you push them in for my potatoes or something, So they'll go back and forth and say, okay, you know what? We'll cancel the retro. How's that? And then they work the deal. I just know that they have tried this previously in different administrations, and it never went through. But why not? That's ridiculous, man. All those people, all those government people, and certainly all the teachers, special education aides, I know from being, a career educator, there's special education aides and just regular teachers aides that have been aides for 30 years, man. And they're still capped out, probably only about $12 an hour or something. So their Social Security is not going to be a lot, because their wages were very low. And now, when they retire, it's going to be half. That's probably why they're doing it for 30 years, because they know half ain't enough, man. Crazy. But let's hope it works. I mean, especially, not so much for me. I mean, certainly I'm going to like having, 100% more Social Security. But really for my wife, because, she's 13 years younger. So when she's ready for Social Security, it will benefit her if I make more Social Security. She actually has her own Social Security. She's vested already from working for more than 10 years on American soil. And so, but, if you're familiar with the spousal benefit, if her Social Security benefit comes out to less than half of what mine is, then they will raise hers automatically. It's called deemed applied or whatever, but her value will raise automatically to at least half of what mine is. Well, if mine is more, then hers will be more, right? So, if mine was $2,000 a month and they whacked it and you get $1,000 a month, then she would benefit only to half, which is the $500, right? But if they return it and I'm $2,000 a month, then she gets $1,000 a month. The night and day for some people. Especially, you imagine if you're getting, well, you know, some people get over $3,000 a month for Social Security. But if you're on a WEP or a government pension offset, oh, I'm sorry, it's only $1,500. And then your spouse also, again, it's only at $750. If your spouse's benefit is more, then, you know, then they'll just keep their own benefit. But you want to be able to try and maximize everything. I think they should release the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset. You know, it's our benefit. It's not a freaking entitlement. Work my ass off for all that. Oh my gosh. Ooh, yeah, now you can see it's a little brighter over there. There's the water down there coming in the canal. Cat was just up here climbing trees. Check it out, man. This is the time of the morning when all the lilies are bloomed. You can see, I don't know, you can see all the little, I call them diamonds, or like all these little diamonds in the water. Those are the fish coming to the surface eating. My wife probably already fed them out there. My cement junk pile. Ouch! I still got to make that into a fountain. Yeah, man. But hey, you know, I'm enjoying my retirement. Fair enough. Are you? There's the neighbor's rice in full bloom. He's still a few weeks out yet before harvest. And made a little more headway on my new domicile here by the pond. If you saw a previous video, I built the wall. Build that wall. Well, now I have, let me put this down. I built some more onto it. I'm going up now. I stopped right where it meets the metal because I need to actually drill through here. I'm going to drill a couple of holes in the metal. So I got the cement. The cement is up here still, but I'm going to drill holes in the middle up here. Put bar in there to get into the bricks, because I need to still fill this to the top with cement to encase it all. And of course here is going to be the beam, but I need to drill holes in there. But I've decided, if you watch that last one, I decided that there is going to be a window here. I mean, you can kind of see the window, can't you? It's pretty big. It's what is it? It looks like it's going to be 4 and half over there, half over there. That's a 5 brick wide window space over there. My wife helped me decide that because she walked on this side and goes, "Hey man, window right here." I also built the started on the doorway, started building up there, flattened out the step frame a bit there. I cut this wall right here, the old wall, and I'll build that into this one before I close it up. And of course I'm figuring it's going to be another wall just like this one. Big old long window. Yeah, sounds pretty cool. Yeah, man. I like this side of the property. Oh, because the rice is always growing. Look at that, man. The rice is, I call this golding, because the rice is, it starts to become that gold color, and in the early morning, you can't really see it probably, but there's tiny particles of water, morning dew on top of all the rice kernels, Here comes my uncle. Hey, ทำอะไรอยู่งัวข้าวล่ะเอากัดยาล่ะใช่ใช่ดีมากเลยสวยมากเลยAnd what I was saying was that with the water shining on the rice kernels as it turns that gold color, it's like there's little gold drops on the tops of all the rice, and those gold drops are like money. The neighbor over here in that Thai house, beautiful house, it's a Thai house, but it's got a concrete bottom. Thai modern, I should say, Thai modern, kind of a fusion. They're getting ready for their housewarming ceremony today. I can see, looks like we got some of the monks preparing. That's my uncle over there, walking in the rice. He's checking where he had cut all he had bush cut all this between all the lines and everything, and now he's going back and he's gonna make sure the water's coming in and going out or whatever. But yeah, if you are in Thailand and you do live, you know, if you have land that you have, I mean, as Westerners, I think most of us we tend to think that we retire, we can sleep in and we can, because, you know, we're the boss. But I would encourage you to just get up, man. Get up and deposit some endorphins into your bloodstream. Fishes. My wife caught some more fish yesterday. A couple of catfish she cooked up for her mama. And a big old tilapia. About a pound or kilo and a half. What's that? She weighed in almost a kilo and a half. So that was, see what's that, 3-4 pound fish? Damn, man. She got that here in this, I'm gonna call this the sunset pond now, because the sun sets on this pond and the sun rises on that pond. And what is that? Thought it looked like a bird's nest fell in the water and they're eating it, which is entirely possible. I don't know, maybe it's bananas. This tree is really taking off now. I cut back these flowers before, now of course they're getting really nice next few weeks. This is I think it's a Chinese orchid. That's what it's called. I've showed that a number of times. We actually have also started new rice. So I was unconscious. I had a little too much fun. I was sleeping in the other day, and the rice guy came with the transplanter, you know, so it's all. I didn't even hear it. But he's like, do. So all of our rice has been planted across the whole. This takes up, I don't know, closer to about 5 of the rye. We have 8 rye here. I think that's about 5. And we have also, this time we made the effort to leave the big clumps of rice in these areas, and they'll grow at the same rate. But what happens is, as you can probably see, this is heavy water, because even though we pushed more dirt down there, it didn't work that good. So the rice that was planted here with machine has drowned or whatever. So what we'll do is we'll let this rice keep getting bigger with that rice, because they're stronger together, right? Stronger together. And And when they get to a certain size and the water's certain, you know, we're not so water dependent, so to speak, you just get in there and you break those up and you transplant them into the bald spots so that you get better coverage. It was over here too, but I think my sister-in-law already transplanted this portion over here and some up there. Because when the guy comes to harvest it, you know, you're gonna get paid for, right? He's gonna look, and if he sees this huge bald spot, he's like, nah, we're gonna get 20% off of that. So if you want to maximize your yield, you got to do the work, which means do the work. I'll probably do some of it just for kicks, just so I can save when I'm really old. I remember when we used to plant the rice. My wife, speaking of planting, has now laid a new bamboo line, pole line. She put the pole line here so tractors and stuff wouldn't fall in the dang thing in the canal that she had made. But now she put it over here, and she's gonna plant it all new pakbong here. She only planted that like 2 days ago. It's already really long, and I remember it was short. But anyway, so it's gonna take off throughout this whole thing probably. She was over here, and but I know what she did was she said, you know, every time I get to harvesting the morning glory from over here, I nearly drown because the water's up to here on me, so it's over her head if she gets in trouble, wrapped up in there. She did. So she's had a couple encounters. So and it's also better to pull all that stuff out of the water up onto the bank and stuff. But by having it here, it's going to be 100% easier because you can see the mud, or the, you know, the muddy bottom or whatever is right there. And even though it'd be tough to walk in or whatever, it's going to be really easy to harvest that stuff. And we can eat that. I mean, we'll eat some of it, but primarily she just pulls all that in and puts it in through a shredder to feed to the fish. You know, I was fishing yesterday too, but I didn't catch nothing. But I don't think I was fishing to catch anything. I was fishing because I was depositing endorphins into my soul. And now I haven't had breakfast yet, so time for a little chow chow. All right, man. Well, hey, hope you enjoyed that little philosophical tour of life here on the Thai farm. And yeah, thanks for watching, and keep watching for more sunrise here on the Thai farm. Back at you.